So this is what I get. I don't watch wrestling for a couple of weeks. I don't talk about wrestling for a couple of weeks. I don't do videos about wrestling for a couple of weeks. And we get Jinder Mahal as the WWE champion. Let that sink in for a second. Jinder Mahal, WWE champion. Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Jinder Mahal. Something seems to be just a teensy weensy itsy bitsy bit off with this picture. Let me get this straight. Jinder Mahal, WWE champion. The same Jinder Mahal who a couple of years ago was so valued that the company put him in a jobber faction called 3MB, where he was playing backup to Heath Slater. Backup to Heath Slater! Where he was so successful and managed to get so massively over that he eventually was let go from the WWE. The same Jinder Mahal, mind you, that is brought back, who all of a sudden is gassed out of his ass, and ultimately serves as Rusev's jobber bitch. Rusev's jobber bitch! So with really absolutely no build-up whatsoever, absolutely no previous history of this company giving any bluest of blue fucks about anything that they do with Jinder Mahal, somebody took a look and said, you know what I see? I see money. I see WWE champion. Is this what the fuck the WWE has come to? Jinder Mahal is the WWE champion. This is why the brand split is so fucking eminently stupid. Because it creates more spots that need to be filled in a company that already significantly lacks and severely lacks for big-time stars and true legit main eventers, where we're plugging Roman Reigns into the fucking void, and we got idiots clamoring for Finn Balor to fill the freaking void. It's because of the brand split. You have to have two champions for every freaking belt. You got to have, this brand has a world champion, so this brand's got to have a world champion. Well, if you already have a lean roster in terms of actual big stars and superstars, ultimately that's going to mean a bunch of guys who have no business touching a world title, indeed touch a world title. Now, you could give me that shit about, oh, you're always talking about building new stars, and here they go. Not everybody should be world champion. Not everybody needs to be world champion. Not everybody can be world champion. And just because a face is different, just because a name is different, just because it is someone different than somebody else, is not nearly enough of a resume for them to be WWE champion. That's the ridiculousness we use to elect presidents in this country. We, for what we argue is the most important job in the world, always elect the least qualified, least experienced person. Now we're getting to the point where the WWE is doing the same damn thing. They are putting the least qualified, least experienced people as the world champions. Jinder Mahal! What about Jinder Mahal, other than steroids, indicates to you that this is a guy you can make real money with? What about anything in Jinder Mahal's body of work, with either his first run or his second run in the WWE, indicates that this is a guy that you can do things with? Indicates that this is a guy that you can make money with? Indicates that this is a guy that you want representing your brand. To me, when you're talking about making a guy a world champion, there are different tiers and levels of world champion, I grant you. There are those franchise guys, there are those transitional guys. But ultimately, if you are confident enough of in a guy to put a world championship title around his waist, on him, That means you have to be prepared for him to be able to main event any show or be a headline act for any show up to and including WrestleMania. What the fuck would make anybody in WWE think that Jinder Mahal is qualified to headline WrestleMania? This is the stupidity of this company. This is the ridiculousness of this company and the current state of the WWE today. You did all of that crap with Bray Wyatt to have him win the title just so that way he could job to Randy Orton. So that way Randy Orton could drop the strap to freaking Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal! Who throughout his entirety of WWE runs has either been the backup bitch for Great Khali, the backup bitch for Heath Slater, or the backup bitch for Rusev. Now he's supposed to be the headline bitch? Unbelievable. Just because a face is new doesn't mean it's right. Just because you can make somebody a world champion doesn't mean you should. Not everybody should be a world champion. Jinder Mahal, you could really argue, has no business being WWE champion. This reeks of desperation. This reeks of many things. Now, that's the type of reaction you would normally expect out of me in this type of situation. And to be fair, I feel pretty much all of what I just said is true. Kind of is. But let's look at this from a different color lens, a different perspective. When you look at WWE now, there is a clear problem in terms of a lack of star power. Frankly, when you look at so many other guys, what's the difference? And I mean it truly. What is so fundamentally different from a Jinder Mahal to a Roman Reigns, a Jinder Mahal to a Rusev, or a Jinder Mahal to a Seth Rollins, a Dean Ambrose, a Finn Balor? What is so fundamentally different that would make him so much more eminently more or less qualified than any of those guys that I named and so many others? You know, you could talk about preferences, you could talk about this, but there really isn't a lot of fundamental difference. So in the grand scheme of things, what difference does it make? On top of that, you were talking about a Jinder Mahal. Canadian born or not, doesn't matter from the WWE's eyes. They see a guy with that pigment and automatically assume, to India! Which, from a business perspective, as the WWE continues to see its domestic audience dwindle, there is an ever-increasing emphasis and importance placed on producing strongly in the international markets. And if you're talking about Indian international markets, India is the second most populous country in the world, behind only China. So it would make sense as a global entity, somebody who needs to increasingly produce on the international markets to maintain a certain level of profit. It would make sense to appeal to that market as much as you can. From a business standpoint, putting Jinder Mahal at the top as your WWE champion validates him. When you advertise him on future international tours, especially into places like India, you can build your entire event around Jinder Mahal and have him as a current or former WWE champion. It elevates the profile of the company. It elevates the profile of the world title belt. Jinder Mahal, who will be loved and adored in this type of market, is going to be a current or former champion when you do these tours. Also, you need something different every once in a while, some shock value. So let's face it, Jinder Mahal being the champion is shock value. That doesn't mean it's good, because one of us could run out in the middle of a ring on a Raw or SmackDown and take a big steaming hulk of crap right in the middle of the ring. That's shock factor. That doesn't make it good. It doesn't mean that you draw money with it, but it doesn't mean, I guess, you can't either. So when you look at Jinder Mahal, it is something that is so shocking to the system, him being a WWE champion, that maybe nothing's really going to change about the product. It's just more of the same old shit from WWE, believe it or not.